Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out's here, and it's Wednesday, and it's a wow Wednesday. And I'm wowing because our Raptors in the playoffs have been doing fantastic. And specifically, I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard looking like he might be Kawhi Leonard of 2019. You know, this is the thing. Kawhi might be able to get the Clippers pretty far in the playoffs if he can stay healthy. And I believe that, he looks so good the other night, playing at a high level, so good that he could beat Nikola Jokic, three-time MVP, who's been dominating this league and averaged a triple-double this season. That there's just something different about Kawhi when he does playoff mode. Raptors fans know about this. We didn't have him but for 1 year, but the 1 year we had him, playoff mode Kawhi is somebody we became familiar with. And it's just another level of things. It's kind of like Kawhi looks at the regular season as a warm-up for the postseason. And that when the postseason starts, that's when he really goes to the level that he can go to on a crazy level. And that's playoff Kawhi, playoff mode. Really, really amazing player. We've had a lot of interesting former Raptors excelling in these playoffs. Davion Mitchell in the play-in. Dennis Schroeder hitting a game winner against the Knicks the other night. Siakam playing huge for the Pacers right now. So we've got some key former Raptors competing in these playoffs, like Freddie with the Houston Rockets tonight and the OG with the Knicks. And, it's fun to see these guys compete still and try and do something in the postseason, rooting for your former Raptors. And I know with some people, they won't root for Kawhi because he left Toronto and they kind of feel like he's a jerk for that. Actually, let me make a poll question real quick. Let me just ask, because I want to get a feel on this. Do you root for Kawhi in the playoffs as a Raptors fan? Let's see. Yes or no is the question, and we'll see how the answers go for this one. Because some people are going to say no, and that's perfectly okay. There's no wrong or right answer on this. Just wanted to take a little test, see what people are saying about, do you root for Kawhi as a Raptors fan? Some Raptors fans are salty and don't like him. There's a lot of people in the NBA that feel like he's a quitter, and they hate him from his behavior on San Antonio. And, since he's been in Clippers, he's been just hurt all the time. And that's totally a different kind of reason to be frustrated with him. Clippers fans have been frustrated with him for wearing street clothes too much. So, yeah. How do you guys feel about him? I know it's a split thing. I don't feel like, once again, Kawhi Leonard deserves any of the acrimony or kind of derision that people like Chris Bosh and Vince Carter got. Because in some ways, it's like, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Kawhi has decided to be private in his life and not really be much on social media. He's not a very public person. That in some ways he lessens the hate because of that in a weird way. He's kind of like buffered himself from taking a lot of derision because he's just not put himself out there. I feel like that's part of it. If he was a very outspoken person engaging on Twitter like Kevin Durant, he'd probably be more annoying and people would hate him more if he was acting the way he does along with that. And I don't think that that's the case. In some ways, that's why it's like, I don't get mad at him because he hasn't really, once again, I don't feel like Kawhi Leonard has said anything derisive or bad about Toronto in a negative way, like Rudy Gay or even Thad Young recently. Nothing like that. He's never even said that. If you had asked me, would you hear something negative about the Raptors from Thad Young or Kawhi Leonard first? I would have told you. I think that'd probably be from Kawhi Leonard first. So I'm shocked that Thad Young was the one who said something negative about Toronto before. So it's a weird situation. I get it. In some ways, I don't try and read through the lines with him. I know that he got a middle finger on his championship ring from Toronto instead of the CN Tower. I know that he said basically that he didn't feel like our team was good enough to repeat. That's kind of insulting, but it's not really totally that egregious. That was his own dumb assessment, which was wrong, by the way. It was very wrong. We probably could have repeated if he'd hung around. So, yeah, I see it's pretty close. 57% of y'all are saying, yes, I do root for Kawhi still. So it's very split. This isn't a huge margin. 57% only saying, because there's a margin y'all say, no, I won't root for him. Fuck that guy. Fuck Kawhi Leonard. Fuck him. Yeah. So we got all kinds of stuff to do on the show today. We got the straight goods on the Canadian goods. We got the Instagram stories. We got the classic card. And I've even got the ref report for you guys today. I think I will start looking at the matchups and the refs and see who they favor for the game tonight. So you guys can kind of have an educated guess on who should win the games tonight. And we'll start that right now. Miami, Cleveland, game 2 tonight is tonight. And the referees for this game are going to be Tony Brothers, Pat Frere, and Jason Goebel. And all 3 of those refs favor the Miami Heat, guys. Even though Cleveland is at home and it's the second game of the series, and Cleveland won the first game, the referees are favoring statistically by their pasts the Miami Heat. All 3 of them. Tony Brothers, Pat Frere, and of course, Jason Goebel is from Miami. So they got him also. So yeah, the second matchup of the night is Orlando at Boston in game 2. And James Williams, Ed Malloy, and Brent Bernecki will be the refs. All 3 of them favor the Celtics. So, I mean, put your money on the Heat and the Celtics tonight if you're going to bet any money according to the referees' proclivities. Ed Malloy is a huge Celtics fan on the down low, guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. On the down low, he may never be dumb as Eric Lewis to put his shit out publicly. But on the down low, Ed Malloy wears green and white underneath. I'm telling you right now, he's a favorable ref to the Boston Celtics. And, well, him being there for this game, it doesn't matter, though. The Magic suck. And they're one of these skeleton teams that have 2 good players and then nobody else on their bench, just like the Knicks, just like there's a couple of these teams running around right now that ain't got no bench and no help on their team, like Denver, Milwaukee, Orlando. These teams just they don't have enough of a deep team. They're kind of shallow. Let's just put it that way. The last game of the night is the Warriors at the Rockets. Houston, game 2. And you may be surprised to hear this, guys. David Guthrie, Courtney Kirkland, Sean Corbin are the refs, and all 3 of them heavily favor the Houston Rockets. So this ref crew is very favorable for Freddie and Ime Udoka and the Rockets to even up the series against the Warriors tonight, guys. So if we're looking at the ref report, your picks are Miami, Boston, and Houston for the games tonight. So the 2 series may be evened up by the end of the night. Let's see how the ref report stands up with the playoffs and how things are going. In the replay center tonight, it'll be Trey Maddox and Kevin Scott looking over as the eye in the sky, Alan Parsons. Yeah, so let's see. Referee picks for tonight. Miami, Boston, and Houston are the favored teams as far as things. All right, let me see what's going on. Trevor J, words of wisdom. Commissioner J, good morning to you. What's meant for you is still coming. Stay faithful, stay ready, and watch God show up right on time. When it looks impossible, that's when faith does its best to work. God is not done with you. Keep believing. All right, Journey. I like that. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Yeah. That's right. Have faith in God. That God's got a path for you that is destined and that you will walk through it and you will find the things that you were looking for by the time you get to that point in your path. So I appreciate that. Faith in the Lord, faith in the higher power, faith in the God above, faith in the Creator, faith in order to this world where, there's this equilibrium. There's an equilibrium. Sure, there may be men that do evil in this world, but there are also people in this world that do good and take care of people and are caring. There's a counter energy. And maybe that evil is doing a lot of powerful, messed up things right now. But the counter energy is coming up the other way in resistance to get them. Yeah, it's coming. I mean, the people are hitting the streets. The people are more mobilized than ever. They want to cut Medicare. They want to make people homeless. They want to take away Head Start. They want to do all this crazy stuff to starve people and make people even more sick. Well, people will get mobilized and they will fight. They will fight. And they're going to find out more and more. Listen, y'all can have all the money in the world and think you're all powerful, but you do not have the people. The power of the people will destroy you in the end. And that's what fascists deserve. So fascists want to be dictators, want to be kings, want to be lording over everybody like you're fucking in the 17th century. Yeah, want to be getting a guillotine. That's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get for that. Want to be getting a guillotine. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying that OKC took game 2. Yeah, they routed them again. It wasn't a 50-point lead, but it was like a 20-point lead this time. Really, the Grizzlies didn't compete in this game hardly at all. The Thunder jumped all over them right from the start and kicked their ass. Kicked their ass. And it's a balanced attack. It's not like SGA is going out there and dropping 40 or something like that. They're getting a balance between Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren and SGA and people like that. So, they get like 5 or 6 guys in double digits, and nobody's really scoring a huge amount. There's a nice balance to the Thunder, and they're rolling. And the Grizzlies, man, they have a learning curve. They definitely look younger and more inexperienced. And, in particular, Zach Edey. And, it's just what it is. It's a learning curve. And in some ways, the Grizzlies' development as a team has been messed up because of Ja Morant's absence. Him missing time because of suspensions and injuries has really hurt them from progressing like the Thunder have with SGA. SGA's been there. He's healthy. He's available. You see where they are with what they've developed. That's why health is important, Ja. That's why playing guns in forts is for little children and not for grown men in the NBA, because you miss time because you want to play guns. Play guns. Play guns. Pew, 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 pew. Yay. Yay, but my team hasn't developed enough to compete with the Thunder. Oh, okay. I'll just sit over here and smile on the bench while my team's getting blown out by 50. Yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, go ahead. You can see the difference between developing with your superstar present, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and developing with your superstar not present, Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. It's like a study. This is the control group, and this is the other one. And it's like, well, what do you do when you don't have your superstar around? Because he's a knucklehead, because he gets suspended for most of a season, or he's hurt all the time. And this is what happens when you do have your superstar around. He's actually playing with people. Yeah, you get somewhere. Oklahoma City Thunder. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's right. Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals with the win over the Bucks last night. Yeah, Pacers up 2-0 with a strong game over the Bucks. Once again, the Bucks, they're a mess. They're a mess. I'm telling you, they screwed up. They have been horribly managed since their championship. It's like them and the Nuggets have been both horribly managed since the championship. And, well, Calvin Booth's been not extended. He's going to be going bye-bye when this contract's up now, pretty much. And, well, were you going to do the same thing in Milwaukee? Because your front office is screwed up. I mean, y'all traded for Kyle Kuzma this year. That was right there. That should have been the final nail of the coffin of whoever is the GM of the Milwaukee Bucks, trading all-star, longtime champion for the Bucks, Chris Middleton, for Kyle Kuzma. That's a fireable offense right there. And Nico Harrison, you should have been fired after you made that trade for Luka, coming out publicly and saying you didn't realize how emotionally connected the Mavericks fans are to Luka Doncic. You're an idiot. And then Patrick Dumont saying, how come you didn't tell me that the Mavericks fans were so connected to Luka? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you know? You bought the team. Like, is there some stupid people or something? These guys are really dumb. Like, really, really dumb. Charles Barkley's right to tell Nico Harrison to shut the fuck up because you're making things worse every time you open your mouth. Because seriously, y'all are idiots. First of all, I don't understand this. Rich people are dumb, man. They must be. I mean, Trump's making rich people look dumb as fuck right now. Elon's dumb as fuck. These people are dumb. They don't have good IQs. They are idiots. They really are. And Patrick Dumont is an idiot, obviously, because he didn't do the research to look at the Mavericks ecosystem, understand Luka Doncic. How the fuck do you buy a team for $1 billion and you don't fucking know that the fans are emotionally connected to the franchise player? Like, seriously, y'all are stupid. Nico Harrison, Patrick Dumont, you guys are dumbasses. You have low IQs, and y'all don't make no sense to me. You act like, we had no idea that the fans were so connected to Luka. Why did you buy this team? Did you do any research on buying the team or understanding what you were getting into? Because it sounds like y'all are just stupid people, is what it sounds like to me. So it's like, yeah, I'm having an idea that rich people aren't actually very smart. They're just grifters. They've got rackets, and a lot of them are really low IQ, stupid individuals that are selfish on a low functioning level mentality. This is what I'm getting from things. I mean, there's really good examples of dumbass rich people right now. Whether it's Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Patrick Dumont. You guys are stupid. Obviously, you didn't realize Luka's so connected to the fans. Why'd you buy this team? Seriously, if you didn't understand this, it's like the Mavs fan went from the most best kind of owner you could have, a huge fan that intimately knows the team, like Mark Cuban, a man that would do anything for his team, like give them the most plush, luxurious Downy towels, give them a private jet, give them all the luxuries in the world, treat them like kings, to I had no idea that the fan base was so connected to our superstar as an owner. Like, how did they get to this point? Seriously, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm starting to believe that rich people get their shit handed to them and they're not actually that smart or that ingenious to make their money. They just have rackets. They've just been exploiting people. They've just been exploiting tax loopholes. They've been getting government handouts. They've been getting handouts from their parents. They haven't done jack shit to be smart or to earn that money, half of them. They just got it. And they're in a racket and they're just, they're set. They're not smart people. In some ways, they've been lazy their whole damn lives, and they can show it. And Patrick Dumont is a very good example of this. Elon Musk is not a rocket scientist. He didn't design these rockets. He didn't design Tesla. He make people think that he did. No, he's just a rich guy who got money from his family and bought all this shit and acts like he invented it. He didn't do jack shit. He's stupid. He blows up rockets every couple months. He's an idiot. You know, it's like, I don't know why people in this world want to equate wealth with intelligence, because I don't think that's true. I think there may be an inverse at this point. Some people say, oh, they're so smart because they made so much money. No, they're criminals. That's what it is. They're criminals. A lot of people that are billionaires are criminals at some point. They exploited their workers. They broke labor laws. They probably did some illegal shit that they're hiding. They may be hiding money illegally from the tax people. That is definitely a criminal activity. So I would say that every single billionaire that doesn't pay their fair share in taxes, you're criminals. And you're not all that hot shit. You're fucking criminals. You're just as bad as somebody who would steal an old lady's purse on the corner, except you're at like a 10 times a million scale. Motherfucking criminals. Anyway, all right. A little bit on my soapbox there. I apologize. But yes, getting chippy in this Bucks and Pacers series with particular our ex-Raptors, Gary and Pascal got in a little fracas. They got technicals the first game. In this game, they were fighting over a loose ball, and Siakam got thrown to the ground. And he jumped up real quick like he was coming at Gary Trent Jr., like he wanted to fight him. You know, when they were on the Raptors, there was always kind of this weird thing with them. I know they respect and like each other because they talked about it on their way out, and they have said publicly that they're friends. They're fine. But also on the down low, at that time with Nick and the way that our team was in Tampa after we got Gary and him being around, Gary always was struggling to get a bigger role on our team and also struggling with consistency. And in some ways, he had to be a high usage player, but so did Siakam. And there's a little bit of butting up and duties when they were both Raptors a couple of years ago. You know, there was a little bit of a kind of like, yeah, these two guys are two of the biggest black holes on our team. If the ball goes to either one of them, it's not going to anybody else. They're probably going to go shoot it. I don't know. I don't think there's any kind of weird thing other than ultra competitiveness and the heat of the battle out on the court. In some ways, Siakam's face when he got back up wasn't coming at Gary like he was mad at him. He just had to do it to show face. His face wasn't that mad or anything. He was kind of like, oh, come on. And then he wasn't really coming at him fully. If he was really trying to get him, he could have swung on him and came at him. It was kind of like, I got to get up. Everybody hold me back. Boom. That's it right there. James Johnson's behind me. I'm okay. You know, it's like Gary was a little bit like he looked like he could be swinging in that. But Gary got the tech, and then somebody else got a tech on the Pacers. So they were evened out. And then there was a foul on Gary also. The other thing I would say about that play is that Siakam had his momentum going that way already. Now, Gary did put a little extra push on him to throw him back, but Siakam was going to fall on his ass either way because of the way he was moving with his body. Looking at that clip, I really broke it down just to see exactly what the hell happened between Gary and Pascal in that little fracas last night. And honestly, it was an honest, just dogged, determinate competitiveness that kind of caused that incident. And it wasn't as bad as everybody thinks. Now, all the people start running and coming over there and start separating them. But, you know, I don't think it was as bad as everybody thinks, really, seriously. You're saying that Giannis is now 0-7 in the playoffs? That doesn't make any sense to me, man. He's won a championship. He's not 0-7 in the playoffs. Right now, he's 0-2 in the playoffs. You can't say he's 0-7. What, you counting that when he got swept by Miami or something like that? No, you can't do that. You can't just pick and choose which years if you're doing his playoff record, Trevor. You've got to put his whole playoff record, and that includes the 2019 Eastern Conference Finals against the Raptors, where they won 2 games against us, and then we beat them 4 straight. I mean, there's a lot of years of playoffs for Giannis. You can't just say he's 0-7 in the playoffs. That's not factually correct. That is not correct, bro. And if you're saying he's 0-7 for all the times he won the playoffs, he won a championship, Trevor. So your stats are wrong, bro. I'm sorry. I can't say that. Did he shoot 0-7? You can elaborate? Are you saying he shot 0-7? That's not true either, because he scored a bunch last night. That's not true either. I don't get your comment there. That's not factually accurate. Let's see. Trevor's saying Anthony Edwards was fined $50,000 for saying to the Lakers fan that his is bigger than theirs. And he's paid now this season $370,000 in fines. That doesn't surprise me. In some ways, that's not a huge amount of money to me. You go ahead and talk to me about fines. Go talk to Rasheed Wallace or Dylan Brooks or certain people about fines. Mark Cuban, that's not a big amount. That's not a big amount for a lot of fines in this season. That's really not. 370,000. Come talk to me when they're like $1.5 million. Because there's been dudes that have gotten fined like that in the last few years, and that is not a big sum. That is not a big sum right there. Reggie was asking about, before he took his comments back, whether we should try and get Giannis. If Giannis is disgruntled with the Bucks, which it seems like he's going to be, because they probably are going to get put out by Siakam and the Pacers in the first round, if we should try and pursue him again. I wanted to answer this very fairly, Smooth Brown Man. I don't want him at this point. I feel like in some ways, Giannis has not totally progressed mentally right in the NBA. I think that he's gifted and he's a very talented player. He has a lot of athletic gifts, but mentally up here, he's not in the right place. I think he's a malcontent too much. I wouldn't trust him. In some ways, he's a prima donna. In some ways, he's kind of like, I want this, I want that. And those kind of players, I don't want them around anymore. I want a player more like Scott that's going to be like, Darko's yelling at me about playing better, but I play great. But I'm going to listen to him and say, you're right, coach. I'm going to come back out there and play even harder. I don't like these kind of players. In some ways, Antetokounmpo is starting to show the kind of signs that he's going to be like Durant more and more as he gets older as a player. So, no, I wouldn't go there at this point. That ship has sailed. If we were going to do the Giannis sweepstakes, that should have happened when Mark and Serge said bye-bye and we were going to Tampa. But no, that ship has sailed. I'm not interested in Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Raptors now at this point. I think that he's gone half of his career now, at least. And I don't think the second half of his career is going to be as successful as the first half. Because in some ways, once again, he's becoming one of these superstars that gets in his own way of success. And it may be partly because he's being too pushy in the organization and domineering, controlling about what they should do. And partly the GM, the front office, are making poor decisions, partly because of pressure by him. And I think that the Kyle Kuzma trade, once again, was a huge mistake. And if there was some sort of pressure by Giannis or something like that, I'm just saying, I don't want him around. In some ways, he's a spoiled apple. He's spoiled. And he's not this young, vivacious guy who's learning the league and in some ways could be still molded and shaped. He's been molded and shaped into a person that I don't necessarily want on my team, is what I'm saying at this point. Sure, he's fantastic. Sure, he's certain this and that. But also, you got to understand, he's won a championship, and he may never have the gumption to rise up and try and grab another one ever again, because he's reached the pinnacle. And he could say for the rest of his life, I'm an NBA champion. So there's a lot of question marks about why or whether I would want Giannis on our team at this point. I would not. I like the young core that we have. You said, straight up, would you trade Brandon Ingram and one of our lesser players for Giannis Antetokounmpo right now? And Antetokounmpo, I would not. I would not. I would like to see Brandon, who has not won a championship and has a lot to prove right now and is hungry and has a very all-star level kind of play to him, get his chance with the Raptors, then pushing everything all aside just because Giannis Antetokounmpo is upset in Milwaukee and all of a sudden he's available. I mean, if Masai likes this idea, trust in Masai. Masai really wants to see this through finally. And he's like, finally I got you, Giannis. It's too little, too late, or finally, it's never too late. I don't know, but I'm not for it. I'm not for it. I'd much rather ride with Scott, RJ, Emmanuel, and Brandon than bring in Giannis and Antetokounmpo at this point. I just wouldn't. Trevor's saying the last time the Pistons was in the playoffs, Kate Cunningham was 6 years old. Yeah, there's a lot of like facts about the Pistons and the last time they did anything worthwhile and how old their players are. And most of them were not like, they weren't that old. I mean, that's just how it was. Yeah. Yeah. Bryce is saying Giannis is 0-7. Giannis has a ring. Yeah, I don't get that statement by Trevor. I don't get that. He must have wrote it half or something. I don't know why he said that. 0-7. No, he's 0-2 this playoff. You could say that. That would be fair. You could say 0-2. He's 0 wins, 2 losses as of last night, but 0-7, that don't make no sense. I don't get that. He has a ring. It's just like Bryce said. Smith saying, I respect him for giving 100% as a Raptor, but I will not root for him. See, he's one of those people. And I'm totally fine with that, Reggie. You're part of the reason why I wanted to ask that, because in some ways it's like, look, Raptors fans, if Kawhi Leonard wins the championship with the Clippers this year, how do you think that makes the Raptors championship look with him? Like, seriously, I've said I don't want Nick Nurse to win another championship with anybody after ours. Like, he should only get that one with us because I don't want to tarnish the specialness of the one championship with us that Nick has. Nick goes and wins a championship with the Sixers. His championship with the Raptors gets overshadowed and doesn't look as good. Does that same kind of effect happen with Kawhi? Not really, because in some ways, Kawhi has a balance of another championship with the Spurs already from 2014. So if it's like, it'll be like a weird balancing around the championship. So it's a little different in my mindset about it. And I wouldn't mind Norman becoming a double champion in some ways. You know, Common Crazy's here. No swearing Wednesdays. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm not exactly perfect at no swearing. That's right. Smooth saying if the Clippers beat the Nuggets, they get Oklahoma City in the second round. That'll be fun. Then there's some history there. Obviously, SGA was a Clipper in his first couple of years of the league. I think he was a Clipper for 1 year or something like that. So there's the ties there. In some ways, SGA has extra get up against Los Angeles Clippers because they traded him and gave up on him for Paul George or something like that. It was something stupid they did to do that. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of textbook. I mean, it'll be a badass series though. In some ways, you got to think about it. If you've got whatchamacallit, Hartenstein and Holmgren versus guys like Zubac and the big men on the Clippers, that could be a pretty good matchup between those two teams as far as like trying to get defensive battles and things like that. So, you know, there's some that would be a good matchup. I'd like to see the Clippers versus the Thunder in the second round. I think it would be more exciting than the Nuggets as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Smooth saying SGA revenge series. Exactly. It's like they've done some trades, Oklahoma City and the Clippers. So there's a little bit of some interesting stuff there. Roger Raymond's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak Roger Raymond. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good always overcomes evil. Yeah, in the long run. But then in some ways, you know, the evil's going to do their evil stuff to motivate the good to come back up and get them. You know, the statement, the meek shall inherit the earth, is true. You know, if everything's destroyed, you know, whatever is still alive usually is something that's humble and nice. And well, yeah, hopefully that's what happens. We'll see. I mean, I'd like us to figure this out without destroying our whole entire planet or our people. You know, the sad decisions on Earth Day yesterday, around this time of the administration of Trump, as far as opening up public lands for forestry and mining and taking away all kinds of environmental deregulations to help crooks. Once again, rich people rob us of our natural riches of our wildlife and our environment, killing biodiversity, cutting down more trees for their own personal gain. That is wrong. I'm telling you, this has been a model that's been used by mankind for a long, long time, and it's never been right. We've been degrading and destroying our natural world, which we're a part of. We need it, but we don't even understand how, you know, we're extincting so many animals and plants, and we don't even realize how much damage we're doing on a large scale. And we will, and our future generations will also. It's scary, man. So I say, do your part to protect the planet and be an environmentalist. Think green and think about like the animals, the plants, and everything, because we need them to live, y'all. We can't live this dystopian world of just metal and no other living creatures. We will die. We will die. And it won't work real nice. It won't be a world I want to live in. That's for sure. Smooth saying Ja wants to be a gangster, man. Okay, well then why are you in the NBA? You go ahead, man. Why don't you throw your career away? Why don't you do a big flashy move? Like go out and punch somebody in the face in the middle of the game. Like beat up Ed Malloy in the middle of a game one day. That'd be awesome. John Morant just starts beating up Ed Malloy all of a sudden in the middle of the game. He gets thrown out of the NBA completely, and he can go be a gangbanger and drive around and point guns out of windows of cars and creep up on people's houses and say, hey, come outside. Why don't you do that, Ja? That sounds like a great future. That sounds like the perfect life choice. Wow, you're brilliant, man. You know, everybody dreams of getting the NBA, but you dream of being a gangbanger? Well, go ahead and go live your dream. Why don't you just go do it? Seriously, you're wasting everybody's time, especially the Memphis Grizzlies. You're wasting their damn time. That's right. So he's saying you buy a team and you didn't know the fan base. Is Nico really serious about that? Nico and the owner of the team? Yeah, that's what they said in the last couple of days. Apparently, they had a round table and all the executives and important people around the Dallas Mavericks sat down and talked about what's going on with the team and where they're at. And Nico didn't want that, apparently. He was mad. Patrick Dumont, the owner, called it. And in some ways, Nico came and he said some things. He made himself sound like a dumbass, basically. He said all kinds of dumb stuff like, I wasn't aware about this connection with Luka and the fans. I wasn't this, I wasn't that. I'm like, who the fuck are you guys running the Dallas Mavericks? Like, seriously, you couldn't see this? I mean, I'm not that involved with the Mavericks, but I could see that one of the most special connections in this league out of all the teams in the league is between Luka and the Mavericks fans. I have felt it. I knew it. I could tell. They were like, yeah, we got this guy. We're so happy. Y'all couldn't understand this? Y'all had no business running this team. Y'all had no business buying this team. If you didn't understand this, it's like, first of all, you know what it sounds like? Once again, you're lazy and you didn't do your homework and that you didn't do your due diligence. Who the fuck spends $1 billion on a team and doesn't understand the team and what it's all about? Who does that? Arrogant rich people that don't really care about anything because the game is rigged and they don't have anything to lose because they can be frivolous and wasteful and stupid. That's the epitome of it. In some ways, the trading of Luka Doncic to the Lakers is the epitome of affluence, just wasting resources and things in their lives because they can afford to. Meanwhile, there's people deciding between cutting the heat off and feeding their children. And meanwhile, these motherfuckers can buy sports teams and casually be like, I didn't know that Luka was so popular. Oh my gosh. Like, seriously, is this the world we live in, man? Seriously, what is this? What is this, man? Trevor's saying when leading the series, he is now 0-7, Giannis. What? When leading the series? He's not leading the series. He's behind in the series. Trevor, your comments are not making no sense, bro. Not making no sense, Trevor. Seriously, man. Come on, Trevor. You got to make sense, man. I need you to be solid here. You cannot be flaky with your comments, bro. What does that mean? When leading the series, he's not leading the series. The Pacers are leading the series. G's saying, I'm rooting for Kawhi. I like that he isn't cocky, not gimmicky, hasn't spoken badly about our team, and just enjoys basketball. Yeah, those are qualities I like about him, too. You know, he has every reason to be showy and flashy, but he's still his cyborg self, just doing his business, taking care of it. In some ways, that's more OP. That's more badass. That's like OG hitting that shot against Boston in the bubble. I just don't shoot to miss. It's like, OG, you just hit a huge shot and you beat the Celtics at the last second. Emotionless, not really even celebrating, just cold. Just hit it and cold. You know, Scotty talked about this. Like, he watched the OG shot against the Celtics on Twitch after his rookie year with us. And he said, yeah, that's something I want to do. I want to hit a big shot and just be like, I just did it. And I'm not even reacting to it. You know, in some ways, that's Kawhi's whole career. He does huge things, big dunks, big shots, and he doesn't react to it. He's a cyborg. And in some ways, I do really respect and like that too. Like what G's saying here. He doesn't show emotion, good or bad. He just goes out there, makes the shots, kicks some ass, and wins games. That's right. Reggie's saying Raptors made the trade knowing that Leonard would not re-sign. I understand that. What galls me about Leonard is after he hit that Game 7 all-time shot against the Sixers in the tunnel, he was recruiting Jimmy Butler to join him with the Clippers. And because of that, I don't root for him. You heard that? That he was trying to get Jimmy Butler to go to the Clippers with him after the end of the season? I don't know if that's true. I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before. You're the first person I've ever heard that from. I don't know if that's true, man. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't totally make any sense. That sounds like some made up shit. Now, first of all, if you want to get mad at people for Kawhi and the Clippers, you got to get mad at Steve Ballmer. You got to get mad at Lawrence Frank. You've got to get mad at Doc Rivers, because those are the three guys that actively recruited Kawhi while he was still wearing a Toronto Raptors jersey the whole entire season, and they didn't even hide it. In some ways, the NBA should have been giving them collusion charges for the way they tampered with Kawhi in his season and the Raptors getting him to come to LA and make the decision to sign with them, because they were actively there and they were seen and they didn't even try and hide it. But the NBA and the Clippers, they didn't care. They're like, oh, the Raptors, nobody cares about them. Nobody's going to call us out for this. And they colluded with Nick Nurse too, Philadelphia. So it's like, I don't know, man. I've never heard this story about him trying to recruit Jimmy Butler to come to the Clippers. I've never heard that. It's been 6 years since then. I've never, ever heard that. That's according to Jimmy Butler. Interesting. So Jimmy said that he said that to him. That's interesting. Well, I don't know, man. I'll have to investigate this a little bit more. I know that Marc Gasol said that they all knew it was a rental, but still. Well, all right. This is the thing. In some ways, this is the genius of Masai and the gamble of it, and that's why it's all the sweeter in some ways that he made it through and we did get it. Because man, you can understand the crap we would have heard about our team and all this other stuff if this had not come through. The stuff about trading DeMar, the stuff about firing Coach Casey, if we had just fallen short, thank God we won it. Because in some ways, I don't want to know what that reality would have been if we did not win the 2019 NBA championship, because it would have looked bad. It would have looked really, really bad. So in some ways, I don't even want to think about the alternative universe that would have been like that. Kawhi, in some ways, that was part of the deal, is like, look, he always wanted to go to LA. They wouldn't trade him directly to LA. He had one more year on the contract. They sent him to Toronto in some ways because they want to punish him, but he fucked around, won a championship here. At the summer, he wanted to go back to LA. I mean, it is what it is. I'm glad that we did what we did. And like Mark said in that podcast, Kawhi knew he was leaving, and he could have easily said, I want to sit out because I'm not feeling well, and not tried to play. He played hurt in the championship, and he carried us to a championship. So I can't get mad at him for that. He could have easily made an excuse and said, I can't play tonight, coach, because of my hamstring or something like that, and not been available for us. And we would have hated him even more. We would have been like, oh, fuck, Kawhi's not playing tonight, and we lost again. Something like that. So I, like Mark, I'm going to give him credit for showing up, even though he knew he wasn't going to be there after that year, stayed in the games and carried us and took us to the championship. I mean, that means something right there. That means something. Smooth Sam Butler said in an interview that Kawhi asked him to join the Clippers after Game 7 in the tunnel. Well, either way, that's still 2 more series before Kawhi won the championship with us, and he saw it through. And the way he handled the Milwaukee series in particular, and what he said, and then saying that he wanted to go get both games in Golden State and then getting them. I mean, it's disheartening, but once again, he did what he's going to do anyway. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Maybe Jimmy Butler shouldn't be telling people this kind of shit, is what I would say. Let's see. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Wednesday. Good morning to you, MJ. Good morning to you. Happy to see you. And Cool Cat's here too. Also, Coach Cool Cat. Good morning, Rapid Freak crew. I'm glad that Kawhi is healthy to play basketball. However, I want his last chip to be the Raptors NBA championship for history purposes. That way, his Hall of Fame celebration is only Spurs and Raptors. That's a valid point. That's a valid point right there. Seems like in our poll right now, 62% of y'all are rooting for Kawhi, and the other 48 are not, or 38, I guess. It is what it is. All right, let's go on with more of the show right here. Let's do the Instagram stories, or no, straight goods on Canadian goods. How about that? Y'all, I've been doing the steakhouses lately. We've done Baton Rouge. We've done Lone Star Texas Steakhouse. We've done the Keg. We've done Jack Astor's. Well, let's do Montana's today. Montana's Bar and Grill is Canadian, y'all. It started in Vaughan, y'all, actually. The first Montana's barbecue and bar Started in Vaughn in Oakville in 1995. They started in 1995, so they've been around for 30 years now, Montana's, and they have over 100 locations from coast to coast across Canada. They opened a location in St. John's in 2007, and that's when they went coast to coast. But yeah, over 100 restaurants coast to coast in 2017. And yeah, they're just serving up the good barbecue and ribs and steaks and all kinds of good stuff there. So yeah, if you want to eat a good barbecue, Montana's is a Canadian restaurant. It's owned out of a company out of Vaughan, Ontario, and their first location was in Oakville. So eat at Montana's. It's fine. Go eat it. It's Canadian. There you go. Fiercely saying, I'm rooting for Kawhi and the Clippers to win against Denver, but not to win a chip. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I can get behind that. You wanted them to get past this round, but maybe not past the Thunder. Yeah, I could get behind that. Trevor's saying the Lakers get way last night, but I can see the Timberwolves beating the Lakers in 5. Lakers get way last night? What? Trevor, man, you're a little off today, man. All right. The Lakers did win their game last night. The game last night was weird with the Lakers and the Timberwolves. It was very low scoring. Both teams were having trouble putting the ball in the basket. Maybe there's a little bit of ref manipulation in some certain ways. In some ways, this is what I would say about a low score for that game. It helps the Lakers because once again, the Lakers are like the Magic. They are a team that doesn't have a bench. The Knicks are another team like this. They have very little good depth throughout their bench. So to help a team with no depth against a team with depth, they want low scoring points because then Luka and LeBron can score a lion's share of the points, and then they don't have to have too much supporting cast. If the game is like 90 to 80 something, that is when that happens. Now, if the Timberwolves are able to get going and get scoring, they probably made the game really a slow tempo game, half court game. Is if the Timberwolves are able to get out and get going, they can easily outscore the Lakers with their firepower. And that's the key to it. So if the NBA wants to manufacture a Lakers first round win, they got to keep the scores low, guys, because the Lakers don't have enough scoring punch and they don't have a chance. If the score starts getting up to 120 or 115, the Timberwolves will win because they have more options and more people that will fill it up. So pay attention in this series. If the Lakers and the Timberwolves games continue to be low scoring and Lakers win, that's ref manipulation right there. They're slowing the game down. They're not allowing the Timberwolves to get out and run and get all their offense going. And that is on purpose. I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, they got away. The Lakers got away last night. Got away? Is that what he meant? Maybe. Cool Cat saying, congrats to my favorite, Siakam. He continues to show up against the Bucks. Happy for his continued performance. This season is his best career ever. Work ethic still producing results. Underrated player. Yeah, I would say he's underrated overall in the whole picture of the NBA. I think that he's having a fantastic playoff so far. It's been 2 games. I don't know if I'll go as far as saying this is best ever, but maybe you're right. I haven't watched him as closely as you. We'll see how far he gets and see if he can sustain this. That's the whole thing. Siakam in the past has had huge games, but I want to see a consistency in this playoffs because in some ways he's matured as a player, as an older player now, that he should be a leader for younger Pacers and showing consistency and output night in, night out. He's going to go get his no matter what. And he's done that so far. So, yeah, I'll agree with pretty much everything you're saying here. Yeah. What do you think about the Gary Trent Jr. Pascal stuff right now? Cool Cat, what's your take on the little things that are happening between them right now? Because it's very interesting. Yeah, Fiercely saying Pascal and Gary playing against each other. Lots of tension in both games so far. Yeah, text and then a little bit of a tossing around. I talked about it a little earlier. I was saying that I think that in some ways Siakam's momentum was going to the floor anyway, and Gary may have put a little bit of a push in there for sure. He did do some extra pushing, and that's why Siakam got up so mad at him. But I don't think it was any more like, I don't know. It's weird because Siakam did get up like he was totally coming after him. He kind of got up just to get up and show that he's not going to like be pushed around, but he wasn't really angry. is what I'm saying. It's kind of more like you got pushed to the ground. You got to get right back up and show that you can't be shoved around. But it's not like, oh, you shoved me to the ground, I'm going to get up and rip your head off. That's not the way he came at him. He came at him very like, he's smart because in some ways you got to stand your ground. That's the right amount of energy, honestly. You come back at them, show you can't be pushed around, and then you kind of don't do more that gets you suspension or a fine. Because even then, Siakam did not get anything. He did not get a tech. He did not get a foul or anything in that whole situation. He was fine. It's perfectly fine for him to get tossed to the ground and then get back up and kind of walk towards the guy. And that's not a tech. So, all right, let's do the Instagram stories real quick. Yeah. We got Jonathan Mobo first. He's saying, go to God first, not last. A lot of people go to God when they're in trouble, but, it's okay to do that too. But you know what? A lot of people go to God first before, and that is in some ways even better. Manila is where these guys are now. Jonathan Mobo checking in an hour ago in a night-filled sky in Manila, Philippines. So our Filipino Raptor freaks, our entourage, our gang, Scotty, Jonathan, Lloyd, they're in Philippines now, guys. They've moved on from Thailand to the Philippines. There's Bruno Fernando walking around with some bags outside, looking good. There's RJ reposting Scotty's post from the other day of the barbecue. Barrett, Barnes, and Quickly standing on the sideline, waiting to come into the game. That's going to be quite the trio next year, along with a quartet with Brandon Ingram. Chris Boucher has posted Bart Simpson in the school classroom on the chalkboard, writing out over and over again, these motherfuckers ain't stopping me. These motherfuckers ain't stopping me. Who are the motherfuckers? Who's trying to stop you, Chris? I want to know. Please just tell us. These are cryptic, weird memes that you're posting on Instagram. Is it Bobby and Masai trying to stop you? Who's trying to stop you? The NBA? Who's trying to stop you, man? I hope it's not the Raptors. And he's saying these motherfuckers ain't stopping me. I wonder who he's talking about. Seriously, who are you talking about, Chris? I want to know. Savannah Hamilton is being a thirst trap on her Instagram. She's wearing a Yankees hat, though. Savannah, why are you repping the Yankees? Like, seriously, Savannah, you're in Toronto. You be repping the Blue Jays. Why are you wearing the Yankees hat? What is that? What is that crap? Seriously, she got a nice meal, though. It looks like some calamari there and some drinks and such. JYD is shooting for peace, y'all. At Hyde Park Academy High School, April the 23rd, JYD, the Junkyard Dog, Jerome Williams, will be shooting for peace. Click here for more info with Jerome Williams. I'm pretty sure this is not in Toronto. I don't know where Hyde Park Academy High School is, but yeah, it's AAU stuff. Kelly Olynyk somewhere with palm trees and a nice sunset. Looks very nice and warm. Let's see. Yeah, there's some golf course. He was out golfing. Kelly's golfing because he's on vacation at this point. There he is with his swing with the iron, the 9-iron, hitting over the water. That golf course looks tough because it's like you have to hit over the ocean to get to the green. So Kelly, look out, man. 4. And there's the palm trees and just a nice beach. Yeah, these guys are checking in some really nice locales right now. Really, really nice locales. This is Jamal Shed is saying best out of 512. Okay, there's no picture on there, Jamal. You didn't post anything. AJ Lawson's checking in from Nassau. Nassau in the Bahamas. New Providence, Nassau, Bahamas is where our guy AJ Lawson is summering right now with the nice crystal blue water. So that's where AJ is right now. And yes, sir, see, Scotty has posted another picture. He's in Bangkok still. And this picture, that was 23 hours ago, but Jonathan's showing that they're in Manila at this point. Also, just a really quick note, guys. Jared Roden, it was announced yesterday, had surgery on a torn labrum in his shoulder. He will be out 4 to 6 months with this surgery he just had in a couple of days. So Jared Roden is going to miss the summer stuff, like summer league and probably the beginning of preseason and training camp. So yeah, Jared Roden, a successful surgery on his shoulder to repair his labrum, and he will be out 4 to 6 months. So he could be out. He's going to be out all the summer league for sure, and maybe out a little bit at the beginning of the fall activities that we got going on right now. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Let's see. Cool Cat saying Siakam is not a flashy player, so he's often overlooked. Gary Trent Jr. was unfair. He could have injured him. Play hard, but respect player's career. I fear for his elbow re-injured. Yeah, you might be being a little dramatic. We know your favorite. I'm going to look at that play, and honestly, I don't think Gary was dirty in that. He was just being feisty. He was trying to get the ball. and he wrenched it a bit, and Siakam's momentum was already moving that way. He didn't have his balance completely. But yeah, I mean, either way, no harm, no foul. Nobody was hurt. And it's just the playoffs. This is playoff intensity. And this is that kind of stuff. I don't think what Gary did was dirty, guys. I really don't. And in some ways, I feel like it was a mountain out of a molehill in some ways, this whole thing that happened with them. Trevor's saying Kawhi said that he is so thankful that he is healthy and still able to play basketball and see how far he can go in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, he has not had that opportunity in many years since Toronto. And, well, he's got it right now. There have been a couple of playoffs where he's been healthy and he's played for a bit, but then he gets hurt and he can't finish the whole playoffs. Well, let's see how he goes. Maybe he can keep his health this time and make a good playoff run. I feel like the Clippers did a good job with him health-wise this year and managing him and getting him to this point, at the point where he is right now. It's very good. Cool Cat's saying Siakam is Pacers' only consistent player since he joined. In his 15-month tenure, he's already making Pacers history. Coach Carlisle is openly forever praising him since traded there. Appreciation. Yeah, if Siakam's prolific enough and he's consistently healthy and he's there enough, he will move up Pacer career stats leaders lists. Yeah, he should. He's not been there that long. He's only been there for 2 seasons. Actually, 1.5 seasons. And yeah, he's made a huge impact. And well, he's going to move up those Pacers categories. I mean, it's going to take a long time for him to get to Reggie Miller. But yeah, he's moving up. And, Coach Carlisle is a great coach. I really am happy that Siakam is working with a coach like Rick Carlisle because he's a great coach and he does utilize him right. I like that. Yeah. Fiercely saying, Lex, I missed the beginning of the stream. Did you talk about Jared Rhoden's injury? I just did just now. And basically, it's not a big deal. He had something that was nagging him already during the end of the season, and he played hurt for a bit. But yeah, it's just a torn labrum, and he will be out for 4 to 6 months. And this is the right time for him to get surgery, Bruce Brown Jr. This is the right time for people in the Raptors to get surgery right now, because we got the whole summer for y'all to heal right now. So go ahead and get your surgeries right now, Jared Rhoden. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Trevor's saying Pascal looking like the number 1 option for Indiana right now, win 2 games back to back. Yeah, I've always thought this. I don't think, like Cool Cat's saying, he's the most consistent main player for the Pacers. He's more consistent than Halliburton. And those guys are basically the 2 competing for that role on that team right now. Maybe there'll be the emergence of somebody else on the team that will compete for being kind of the number 1 guy on that team, but it's Siakam, man. The marketing of the NBA may push Halliburton, but if you get, you might ask Pacers fans at this point, who do you think is your franchise player right now? Who do you think they're going to say? Some of them may still say Halliburton, but a lot of them will start saying Siakam at this point. A lot of them will say that. Cool Cat saying, I wonder if Kawhi had gene therapy for his knee. I love his relationship with Dr. McKechnie. Well, hopefully he's not working with him at all. We don't need our guy to be working with the opponents on the other teams right now. You wanted to work with Dr. McKechnie, you should have stayed in Toronto, Kawhi. Seriously. You should have stayed in Toronto. I hope they ain't working with each other. Now, you're maybe referring to a thing that we saw last summer, when Kawhi Leonard made a surprise appearance on social media all of a sudden. He looked all ragged and crazy, roadside somewhere in South America or something, or maybe it's the islands or somewhere. And there was some rumors that Kawhi was at the place he was at in that picture because he was taking very cutting-edge gene therapy that is not available in the United States because it's not totally legal to do in the United States. That Kawhi went and got some stem cell growth or something like that, or some injection, and that helped him with his health this year. Maybe I heard that, and I remember that happening. I think he was somewhere like in an island or something when he got that therapy. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I'm afraid they waived Rhoden like they did Harper Jr. and Carton due to him keeping a roster spot. Okay, yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen because they knew about this injury already, Fiercey, and they kind of have invested in him long-term. They kind of got him on the contract because they want him to have some security with us. Now, this is where this will go wrong, is this way. And this is what happened to DJ Carton last year. They did the same thing with DJ Carton last year. DJ Carton was on a 2-way over the summer. He was hurt. He got surgery, and he started to help get back. Then he came into training camp, played for the Raptors for a little while at the beginning of the season, but got re-injured again all of a sudden. And the Raptors are like, we're not going to wait for you again. So Jared Rhoden gets the time of the summer to heal. He's not going to be cut this summer. He will get back in the fall. And if he's healthy in the fall, as long as he can stay healthy, well, it could happen like DJ Carton last year, where he gets cut if he gets hurt again in the fall. But he's got a chance. He's not going to get cut in the middle of summer. In fact, the Raptors are helping him with his surgery and his recovery as part of helping him, because it's an investment, and they do want him on the team. He's a great two-way player, and he fits with our vision. So, yeah, the only way they'll cut him or waive him, like you're saying, is if it goes down like DJ Carton last year, where they have him getting healthy all summer. Then he comes into training camp or preseason. He has an injury and he has a setback where he can't play for a while. And they're like, we can't waste the two-way on you for this amount of time. I'm sorry, we have to waive you. That's the only way this happens. So Rhoden's got 6 months. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Fiercely saying, put some respect on Pascal's name. I'd say that the NBA and the U.S. media put some more respect on him. He's getting more shine. In some ways, ESPN ranked him as one of the top 50 most influential players in the playoffs. I think he was like 35th. It was kind of a joke. He should have been higher. He should have been higher on that ranking. In fact, they had Halliburton higher than him on that ranking, which didn't make sense to me. You know, Freddie's not even on that ranking. Norman's on that ranking, though. And Kawhi is also an OG, of course. But, yeah, that ranking was kind of stupid. SGA was the most important player, though, in the playoffs. They ranked him number 1, which I like. I like that. Yeah. Stargate saying Pascal has to catch people like Reggie Miller and Chuck Person first. Still has a ways to go. Yeah, Chuck Person. Rick Smits, Detlef Schrempf, Mark Jackson, Vern Fleming, Greg Dreiling. Yeah, Sam Mitchell. He's got to pass Sam Mitchell probably on the Indiana Pacers scoring list too. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Reggie saying, I would really like to see Pascal and the Pacers in the finals, 100%. There you go. So he's no problem rooting for James Johnson and Pascal Siakam, former Raptors, on the Pacers. Yeah, I have no problem with that either. Fiercely saying, we helped Doughton Jr. as well. Players cannot say the Raptors organization lacked class. We're top tier and taking care of our players. Well, it's just in some ways we'll allow it for a while, but if it's the kind of point where, like, yeah, we really need the player active and you're just not healthy, I'm sorry, Marquise, we have to cut you. We really need a player right now. Koloko this, blah, 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 that. We need our two-way spot. Ron Harper Jr., I'm sorry, man. You're hurt. We need a player right now. We're going to take the two-way off of you. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But at least the flexibility of the two-way will allow us to do this. I like Rhoden, though, and I feel like Rhoden's going to be fine. I don't think he'll be like Carton. I think he'll take the surgery. He'll heal very well, and he will not get hurt again, and he'll play for us next season. I'm really hoping that's what happens. Yeah, it's all business. All right, let's keep going in the chat, and let's see what else we got on the stream today. Maybe we'll do the classic card real quick. Let's do the classic card right now. Let's see. First person to write in the full name answer of the classic card will get the classic card points. And I don't want to do that card. Let me see. Let's get a different one. Oh, fun. This is weird, man. This is the second one I drew, guys, just by the way. I didn't draw this one first, but I didn't like the first card, but I drew the second one. So here we go. Here we go. All right, let's see. Write it fast because this is kind of stupid what happens here, guys. Who's that? Can you see who it is? It's so funny that it's who this is. This is a classic card. It's the second card I drew. It's not the first one. The first one I drew was Vucevic, and I didn't want to do him. Yeah, it's Kawhi Leonard. It's like DZ's got it. It's actually Kawhi Leonard on a day that Kawhi Leonard is the subject of my stream. The classic card is the person, Kawhi Leonard. This is a nice one, too. I'm going to keep this one. I like Kawhi. So I'm going to keep this nice Prism Kawhi Leonard card. This is a beauty right here. Cool Cat, you're just behind Slug DZ. Just behind him. But yeah, it's Kawhi. Isn't that weird, man? I like set up the stream today to talk about Kawhi. We don't get Kawhi cards like in this box very often. You know, that's so weird that we got Kawhi. I'm telling you, the classic card sometimes is creepy, man. Like the day that Oliver Miller died, we had him as a classic card. That's crazy. Remember the time when Scotty got his face busted and I said he would have to have a mask like Bill Laimbeer, and then I pulled the classic card and it was a Bill Laimbeer mask card? Creepy. That's what I'm saying. So once again, The card of the day is actually Kawhi Leonard for today. That is so creepy and weird, man. Creepy and weird, man. How fitting, indeed. How fitting. That's so weird, man. I'm kind of freaked out now. So weird. All right, let me go over my tabs real quick. Let's see. What's going on the Blue Skies? Is there anything interesting? Oh, very cool. Here we go. Blake Murphy just posted 2 minutes ago that Chris Boucher is a finalist for the 2025 NBA Social Justice Champion Award. The winner receives $100,000 toward an organization of their choosing, Slim Duck Foundation. Details on Chris Boucher's excellent work. Here we go. We're going to read this real quick. Chris Boucher is advancing economic and racial justice through youth empowerment, focusing on Black and Caribbean youth in Canada who face systemic barriers to education, mental health support, and economic opportunity. Through his Slim Duck Foundation, Boucher has led year-round initiatives reaching over 1,000 youth across Toronto and Montreal, including scholarships, mental health advocacy, and community programming. Having experienced homelessness himself, he channels his lived experience into action. In 2024-25, Chris Boucher hosted youth basketball camps in 3 cities, organized holiday meals and toy giveaways for at-risk youth and communities, led a Raptors-backed clinic with Puma, and co-hosted Mindful, a mental health panel during Mental Health Week. He also awarded scholarships at Toronto Metropolitan University, donated 15-plus computer monitors and equipment to Hacker Girls supporting girls in STEM, and raised funds through Night of Laughter, a comedy event featuring Black talent. The Slim Duck Foundation increased its visibility through Boucher's participation in Kids Help Phone National Feel Out campaign, which garnered over 1.5 million media impressions. Boucher has contributed over $10,000 in scholarships, tech donations, and community support while securing impactful partnerships with Puma, Subway, Kids Help Phone, United Way Greater Toronto, Canadian Mental Health Association, CAMH, 211, and the Montreal Community Cares Foundation. So that's fantastic. Chris is a finalist for the 2025 NBA Social Justice Champion Award. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I love to see that. Let's see what Doug Smith is also writing about this. It's the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award, guys. It recognizes a player for pursuing social justice and advancing Abdul-Jabbar's life mission to engage, empower, and derive equality for individuals and groups who have been historically disadvantaged. A very prestigious award. The other finalists are Bam Adebayo, Harrison Barnes, Drew Holiday, and CJ McCollum. So Chris Boucher is up for an award with Bam, Harrison Barnes, Drew Holiday, and CJ McCollum. I hope he wins. I don't think he will, though. Knowing the NBA, they're going to do what they're going to do. We know that. All right, let's see what's on Raptors Reddit real quick. Masai is light years ahead. Let's see. It's a picture of phase 1, trade Siakam to Pacers. Phase 2, I'm not sure. Phase 3, Giannis trade request. So they're thinking like Reggie. And they're thinking because Giannis is going to get upset about being out of the playoffs that he may want to leave. And Masai may be able to say, hi, would you like to come to Toronto? The Raptors Reddit is reacting to the skirmish between Gary Trent and Pascal Siakam. Yeah, that's interesting. They have some interesting comments. Let's see what they're saying about the skirmish. See what they're saying. None of these are great angles, but it looks to me like Siakam was already off balance. That's what I saw too. Trent made a play to rip the ball away after already getting Siakam's arm a few times and pulled like he was hoping to get at the ball and rip it away. Not malicious. Good playoff basketball, in my opinion. There you go. I like that. I think that that's probably right. You know, we've seen Gary, when he steals the ball, he has a very quick move where he wrenches. And that's not necessarily trying to push somebody. People are saying they hate this Raptor on Raptor violence. In my opinion, Siakam was off balance and Gary was already tangled with him. Don't be soft. Gary did not throw Siakam. He was literally battling for the ball. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the Raptors Reddit is pretty on point with their opinion here. I know some of y'all really love Siakam, so you're going to go ahead and just say, yeah, he was dirty for that. Here's an interesting picture on Raptors Reddit. It's a picture of a 7'4", 14-year-old young man named Jeremy Goyer. He's from Montreal, and he's standing next to Akeem Olajuwon. And the man looks like he's 6 inches taller than him. Wow. Canadian hoops with Oliver Ryu and this Jeremy kid and Zach Edey. We get bigger up here in Canada. This kid, you seriously, if you're in the Discord, you can see this picture of this kid that I posted in our Discord server yesterday. 7'4", 14 years old. 14 years old. And that man is way taller than Akeem Olajuwon. I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm telling you. Let's see. There's a mural up of Kyle Lowry up somewhere. I don't know. Where is that mural that is up like that? I want to see where it is. Where is that mural? Sheridan Mall? Is it a Sheridan Mall? I don't know. That's what they're saying that is there. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with Raptors Reddit right now. Let's see what's going on in the Discord. Things are chippy. There you go. That's chippy. Happy birthday to Sherman Hamilton. Happy birthday to former Team Canada stalwart, Canadian basketball legend, Sportsnet personality, Sherman Hamilton. That's right. It's Sherm's birthday today, guys. How old is Sherm today? Sherman is 53 today, guys. Sherman Hamilton, 53 years old today. Happy 53rd birthday. We do have one more spot in the WNBA Fantasy League. Get at me if you want to join. We're going to need one more team to join before the end of things, before we start the season this year. The draft is May the 4th. So if you're interested in playing WNBA Fantasy, the opportunity is there. We got one spot open. That's right. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Ooh, Chris. That's awesome for Chris Boucher. Yeah, I hope he wins that humanitarian award, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award. Bravo to Chris. Wayne's here. Oh, good morning, Wayne. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Cheer for all former Raptors. When they compete against each other, may the better team win. Chris Boucher is a real one. There you go. I love all that. Good job, Wayne. Always good to see the Sergeant at Arms, Wayne Strainer. And Cool Cat's saying, yes, we have a lot of tall Canadians that are now focusing on basketball instead of volleyball. Great for the sport. Yeah, 7 foot. There must be something in the water. And in Montreal, in particular, with Oliver Ryu and this Jeremy kid who's 7'4" at 14 years old. Seriously, you see that picture of him with Akeem Olajuwon, you're like, holy crap, that kid is big. That's a big, big, big boy. Big, big boy. And I want to see if these kids can actually play and get up down the court. Is Oliver Ryu doing good stuff for Florida? I mean, he's a champion. I don't know if he actually played a whole lot just because he's kind of a freshman and kind of like a project for them on the end of the bench is what I think they're doing with him. All right, y'all. It looks like I've gotten to the end of my chat and I've done all of the things that I do on this channel. So let's do a recap real quick and I'm going to be out of here. Oh, Fiercely saying, Lex, quickly remind us the rules for the WNBA draft. At least one guard, one forward, one center, correct? I've changed the lineups a little bit. You'll have to go in and look at the settings. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I have it where you have to have 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center now. Last year, it was 2 guards and a forward, and then a forward center or a forward center. But this year, everybody's going to have 1 center on their team at least because there is a center spot to start. So, yeah. Yeah, Cool Cat's saying she saw the picture of Akeem looking small. I didn't even recognize it was Olajuwon because he looks so small in that picture. Yeah. Trevor's saying they're saying the food in Canada creates giants. Well, I will say this, and this is another thing where the rollbacks of government by Trump are going to hurt the people, is they're going to get rid of FDA inspections. And well, the reasons why they have FDA inspections is because food companies will cut corners and make it unsafe for people to eat stuff. They already have the food at the grocery store is not really healthy or safe for you to eat. It just, they allowed them to. Up here, we have more stringent procedures and quality control. And in some ways, I'm glad that I live in Canada for that, because in the United States, I wouldn't totally trust the shit that they're going to be putting in the grocery store soon because they got rid of all the food inspectors. They're firing them right now. That sounds so dumb. So in some ways, I would say this. I bet you in some ways, people in Canada could live healthier, happier, and grow bigger because the food quality is better overall. Maybe there's less eating McDonald's and fast food for children up here. And they're actually eating more vegetables and fruit and things that are actually good for them. So, there you go. Yeah, the main thing, Fiercely, about the WNBA rosters is that we have 12 spots. We actually made it a full team. And with 10 teams, that means 120 players will get picked this year. Last year, we didn't have as many spots on the rosters. So you'll have more spots for holding people out, on your bench. So yeah, I've decided to make it more like the true league and having a regular roster size of a regular WNBA team. That's the biggest change from last year. So there are more roster spots this year than last year. That's the biggest difference. Cool Cat saying Canada always had tall folks. They all played volleyball, so it's great that interest is in basketball. It's not sudden growth. Laugh out loud. Guess no one watched volleyball Olympics. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I haven't. So we've had like really tall people playing volleyball for a while already. And it's just they switch sports. Okay, that's good information. Fiercey saying my friend works for the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and they're very rigid. Some business owners hate when the inspections pay surprise visits. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, Trump doesn't want any oversight on businesses for regulation, whether they're polluting the land, whether they're making bad food for people, whether they're not paying their taxes. They cut all the IRS workers. They're cutting all these different people because they don't want anybody to be watched over. And if they're doing things that are evil or wrong to society, they won't be caught. And they can just do this shit to the American people. It's really fucked up. It's really, really bad. I just hope when this madness is over with him, that they can come back and fix everything and put it back the way it was. Because it seems like he's doing a lot of very crazy damage. And, they're going to have to rehire a lot of people and bring people back for crucial jobs that are important. It doesn't make any sense to me that they would be getting rid of people that kind of help people stay alive. That's not smart. In some ways, he's like playing a really big game of Darwin. He wants as many people to die as possible, honestly. He is a president of death. He wants people to die because they don't have a roof over their heads, food on the table, the healthcare that they need, the food for children that are not very well to do, and then they get free lunch. They don't want any of that. They want to starve and kill people, and specifically people that are not white. And that's why they're going after the immigrants. And in some ways, any kind of things like Head Start or any kind of programs that are helping people, they got cut in them because they're cruel and they want to see people die and get sick and hurt. And that's why more and more people need to get in the streets to stop them, because we're going to have unnecessary deaths, just like the United States had during the pandemic because of the confusion about vaccines. There are going to be way more unnecessary deaths around the United States coming up because of the really, really irresponsible way that they're presiding over the government. Let's see. Trevor's saying Trump administration, the Supreme Court showdown tonight. Yeah, he's not listening to them. The Trump administration's been ordered to bring back that guy from El Salvador, and it wasn't even like a split decision. All 9 of the justices say you have to do this, and that includes people that are very it includes Alito and they're very, very right-wing motherfuckers that are in the Supreme Court are all saying he needs to do this. And he's saying, no, I don't. He's defying it. The checks and balances of the United States government is broken. The democracy is over in the United States. It's fascism right now. And the people are marching the streets to fight for their freedom and democracy against a wannabe king dictator. And it's really messed up, man. Smooth saying, it feels like the Galactic Empire is right next to us, man. I know. It does feel like that. Except, let's just put it this way. They're really dumb people. Like, they're really, really dumb people. MAGA is not smart. They're very, very stupid. And part of the reason why they put Linda McMahon in charge of education is because they want to ruin education. It's very true. I said this on this channel for a couple of years now. Dumb people are easier to control and manipulate. Smart people that understand what's going on, they hate those people. They want those people to go away. And they don't want the young people coming up to be very intelligent. They want them as dumb as possible so they can shepherd them around like sheep and tell them what they should think. And that's the thing. Critical thinking is a very important life skill. And if the Trump administration has their way, nobody's able to critically think anymore. They're too busy trying to make ends meet because they're busting their ass because it's a really difficult world financially, or they're just not getting education because the opportunities aren't given to them anymore. No more scholarships, no more opportunities to enrich yourself with knowledge and intelligence. They don't want them smart. The dumber people are easier to control. And that's what it's all about right there. Cool Cat saying, I remember Thad's wife was talking about how clean and fresh Canadian and Europe food is. She is losing weight without trying. Then when she got back to the U.S. and eat the food, feels sick and sluggish. Yeah, it really is that way. They poison their people. They do not have the good oversight over their food like Fiercey's friend here in Canada doing the job that they do. That is fantastic. And that's why, in some ways, I'm proud to be Canadian and I live in this country, because in some ways, we're taking care of our people better than the United States is. They don't take care of their people correctly. And that's why I want to stay the way we are. I don't want our country to slide into what they're doing. And anybody who votes for Pierre Poilievre, that is what you're voting for, is Trump world up here. And we do not want that. Reject the conservative party and vote for the strategic vote in your writing that will defeat the PC. It's most likely liberal, but it could be in your particular neck of the woods, it's NDP. Either way, I say strategically vote for whoever has the better chance to win against the blue party up here. It sounds like because of the early voting already this past weekend, that there's a huge turnout already, which is very, very promising. And hopefully people are very motivated to protect the country of Canada. And that's why they're coming out in record numbers for early votes. Yeah, in some ways, the turnout is very, very good for Mark Carney. Let's just put it that way. And I'm pretty sure he's going to win. Now, nothing's guaranteed. And in some ways, I'm jaded on this. I want to test the Canadian democracy with whether they can buy elections or not. If somehow, some way, Pierre Poilievre wins, I'm going to not believe it. I'm going to believe that there was some sort of manipulation. Somebody paid for him to win. Because honestly, any sane decision at this point is we cannot have mini Trump, MAGA Maple Trump, Pierre Poilievre, who says the same shit that Trump says up here, being in charge up here. He wants to do the same damn things. Get rid of our free healthcare, get rid of the CBC, get rid of regulations, make it easier for rich people to scam everybody at the top, take away taxes on them. He wants to do all the same shit that Trump's doing. So it's like, we hate Trump. Trump is threatening our country. Why the fuck would we elect a guy up here that's basically the Canadian version of him? Seriously. Anybody who's voting for Pierre Poilievre, you're a fucking traitor and you're a piece of shit. And we need to keep Canada strong by staying strong in identity away from America and what they're fucking doing down there with MAGA. And anybody who's voting for Pierre Poilievre is a fucking traitor to this country. And that includes our fucking piece of shit friend who used to be here from Tada. That's right. That's right. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying here. It's Kaloy. Kaloy is here. Kaloy, you'd be happy to know that Scotty and Jonathan are in the Philippines right now. They are vacationing in the Philippines right now. Morning, Lex and Rapid Freak fam. Thank God that guy, Mr. Abrasio, is alive. I thought they offed him and they wouldn't show him. Yeah, he's alive. Thank God. They saw the meeting of him with the congressman that went to come and talk to him. He seemed like he's okay. Now, they staged some shit, and people don't realize this. They put margaritas in front of him, trying to make it look like he drank the margarita. That's bullshit. The congressman has come out and said those glasses that were placed in front of them in this picture were staged, and they were trying to make it look like the guy was drinking margaritas in that jail. Bullshit. And the way you know this staged is you can see the salt around the rim of the drink is not changed. It's like complete around, but there's a little bit less. It's totally staged. He said that they didn't even touch the drinks that were sitting on the table, not even the waters. So it's like, you got to understand, there's a lot of manipulation with bullshit. And prison officials put margaritas in front of that congressman and that guy just to try and make it seem like he's okay or like he's a criminal or some shit. I don't know. It's all fucked up. They're trying to say that he's MS-13 because he wears a Bulls hat. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy. Smooth saying, I'm watching Andor and the Empire feels like what the U.S. is becoming right now. Well, it's Handmaid's Tale. It's 1984. It's all kinds of shit. And once again, I'll say this. We need to watch out for the surveillance state that's coming, whether it's with our data, whether it's with Tesla cars that's driving around us. You know, that's part of the very deep, disgusting, evil plan that Elon had, is that he created Teslas from the beginning to be used for him to watch everybody. Every single Tesla that's been sold has cameras around it. That car in particular has more cameras on it than any other car you can buy. And when it drives by you, it could actually literally be taking pictures of you just standing on the side of the street. And the thing is, the Tesla, the company, can activate and watch cameras from afar at their headquarters through people's cars. So you all need to realize that part of the surveillance state is literally the Tesla cars themselves. That if you're ever near Tesla cars, realize that you're being filmed. And this may be more and more important if this gets into more totalitarian kind of shit, where all of a sudden the MAGA people are using the police and the military against our own citizens. They're protesting against them. Seriously, just realize Teslas are dangerous because they are surveillance cameras on wheels. And they can be driven places or left places, and they will film everything around them. You guys don't realize that. In fact, they filmed the people inside the cars all the time and watched them without their consent or knowledge. It really was part of a whole grand scheme in his plan that he would build his fleet of cars around the world like this so he'd have more power of surveillance. It's crazy. That's Big Brother 1984 shit right there. Right there. Trevor's saying Supreme Court is going to get him and put him in jail. I hope so. Although some of them are kissing his ass. Some of them are people that got their jobs because of him. I don't know. I hope that the Supreme Court can do this. I don't believe that's how it's going to happen, though. I feel like the people that need to do it are the Republicans. I feel like the Republican Party needs to reject him and kick his ass out, just like Richard Nixon and Watergate. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen either. What I think might happen is that the people are going to have to go revolution, and we're going to have to get a little medieval on their asses. Because seriously, the power of the people will win this in the end. I mean, they can't fuck with millions of people, like 50 million people. If we get like 100 million people out in the streets and they are mobilized and everything, they can't do jack shit about that. And in some ways, they will run roughshod over them, and they will get the power back. The people do have the power. Cool Cat saying lots of American food can't be used in Canada and Europe. We Canadians have to make sure we do not take anything for granted. History doomed to repeat it if we don't teach history all the time. Yeah, history is repeating itself. People didn't get the memo about World War II, Hitler, and Germany in the United States. And now they're getting it. And it just substitute the word Jewish for immigrant. Just substitute the word, the gay people for the trans. They're coming in after different people, and they come after people down the road, and they're going to come and look at data and say, oh, you're a liberal. You're a left-leaning person. We're throwing you in jail at some point too. That's not freedom. That is not freedom at all right there. That's right. That's right. Kaloy's saying, Lex, where can I see Scotty's vacation? On Instagram? Yes. Instagram stories on Scotty's accounts, Jonathan's accounts, Lloyd's accounts. They have pictures of where they're at. They just arrived in the Philippines just in the last day. They were in Thailand for a few days before that. Yeah. It's Carlo, you have to get on Instagram. Exactly. Fiercely saying, I saw a Tesla and there was a sticker saying this car was bought before we knew it was crazy. Yeah, that's the thing. I would even say, even though he's crazy and you still got the car, and some Tesla owners do not like him. Some people are putting things like cross out Elon on their Tesla because some people are getting like a lot of bad reactions for driving a Tesla right now, understandably. But they maybe have owned a Tesla for years and years, and they've always liked it because it is economical in certain ways. But at this point, it's a symbol of fascism. It's a swastika, as people are calling them in the Cybertrucks. And in some ways, if I owned a Tesla, I'd be trading that bitch in. I wouldn't keep it. Because in some ways, you're putting yourself out there that you supported Elon Musk by buying his car. And if you don't support him and you don't support what he's doing, change that. Do not support him. Trade that bitch in and get a different EV vehicle. Because seriously, that's another place where these guys get really hit hard is the finances. Boycotts, not spending money on their stuff. They feel it. Trust me, they feel it. And Elon's already whining and complaining he doesn't like being in politics because the left keeps attacking him. Oh, boo-hoo. You poor little bitch. You poor little bitch. Whining and crying. Nobody feels sorry for you, you sorry-ass piece of shit. That's what I say about that. That's right. Bumper Sticker said that. Yeah, I bought this before we knew he was crazy. He's not crazy. He's a fucking evil, maniacal supervillain. Just like would be somebody that Superman would fight. He is exactly that kind of shit. He's a real one. Real world one. Donald Trump, Jeff Bezos, they're all supervillains. Just like fucking Lex Luthor, Joker, and the Penguin. Those motherfuckers are the epitome of it right there. Trevor's saying so much people went underground, hide from ICE. I mean, they have to. I mean, seriously, and some of them did leave already just on their own because they just don't want to live in a terror kind of situation. And the other problem is that they're deputizing people like the Proud Boys to go and be like ICE and go pick up people, and they're not using the proper law enforcement protocols of the rights that people have. I mean, there's footage of the guys breaking people's windows in their cars without really kind of giving the due process to get out of the car. It's terrorism. They're terrorists. They're bringing fear to people and making people look over their shoulders. This is all shit from Nazi Germany and the way that they dealt with Jewish people. The same kind of shit. It's the same kind of shit right here. All right, let's do the recap, y'all. Some of y'all are not with it, but 63% of y'all are saying you will root for Kawhi still in the playoffs. And that's a more than percentage, a half percentage. And I'm with you guys on that one. So I would say yes also. Do I get to vote? No, I don't get to vote. So we'll end the poll here. 63% said yes, I do root for Kawhi in the playoffs. 37 saying no, I do not. And that's fair. That's fair. It's a good poll. Thank you for answering it. So last night the Pacers went up 2-0 over the Bucks. The Thunder went up 2-0 over the Grizzlies, and the Lakers even the series with the Timberwolves on a low scoring game. The referees holding down the score so that the Lakers can actually try and win. Seriously. And then, yeah, let's see what else we got. Go to Montana's Bar and Grill, Barbecue and Grill. That is a Canadian company. If you want to support Canada, I'm going over products and restaurants that you can go to that are Canadian. Montana's is a Canadian restaurant, so go check that out. Yeah, Chris Boucher's up for the Social Justice Champion Award, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award this year. That's fantastic. I love that so much. Yeah, referees for tonight. They favor the Miami Heat over the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 2. Tony Brothers, Pat Frere, and Jason Goebel. They favor the Celtics over the Magic in Game 2 with James Williams, Ed Malloy, and Brett Barnecki. And then they favor the Rockets in the late game over the Warriors, David Guthrie, Courtney Kirtland, and Sean Corbin as the refs there. Y'all join the Discord server if you are a longstanding RFF member, Logical Raptors fanatic. And happy birthday to Sherman Hamilton. Sherman Hamilton's 53rd birthday today. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. We're going to do a think tank tomorrow, and we'll have the call line open. So if you guys want to call in and talk on the show tomorrow, we'll do that. Yeah, this morning stocks for Tesla went down. They've gone down pretty much all year. They've been going down and plummeting. Just like Twitter, when he bought it, he ran that in the ground. Everything he's doing right now. These guys are not good businessmen. They lose money. They really do, because they're not popular people. Let's just put it that way. Kawhi saying, yeah, Kawhi has a special place in my heart. I saw him he gave all his all with that Raptors championship run. He's never the same after. There you go. And Neil's here. Good to see Blackhawk. I actually want the Lakers and Clippers to win some games in the first round, but Clippers to go on to the second round. Okay, we'll see if the referees will manipulate the Lakers past the first round. They probably want to. The NBA wants them to beat Minnesota, at least in the first round. That they get to the finals, they'd want that for sure. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Whether you cheer for the Claw or not, man, he is a Raptors Finals MVP and a Raptors champion. And in some ways, that Larry O'Brien behind me right there, well, it ain't here in Toronto without Kawhi Leonard. So yeah, LA only deserves the Clippers. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens in the playoffs. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Canada. Strong. True North, strong and free. Let's go. Vote.